So what happens when we put modes together?
Well, behind it all is, of course, the notion of communication. I want to communicate something to you. I have a meaning which I want you to get in some way. I have the sense that one mode alone won't do it. So I put modes together because I have a sense that this mode will allow me to do this kind of thing best, and this mode will allow me to do this other thing best. So for instance, on this website that we have here, I can click on a particular thing, and what I have is something which is in time. There's a mode of moving image or little video, which is moving image and its speech together. These things are in time. But at the same time, I have things which are not in time, bits of writing. So I have things which are not in time and things which are temporally instantiated. I have an image, a still image, which is spatial. So because I want to say things which are about things which are in time, they move, things which are not in time, they're stationary, things which are spatially kind of displayed like images, I want to put all these together because of the meaning that I want to make. So I have a sense of what these things do, I have a sense of what I want to mean, and so I have a kind of an interest to make a composition in which certain kinds of things come together in a particular way that best exemplifies or communicates what I want to mean.
Okay.
So these modes are kind of arranged according to the interest I have as the person communicates, but also my sense of who you are and what might be most interesting, most readily memorable, what most pleasurable, most informative for you. So these things are sort of set in a communicational frame.
So you seem to suggest that different modes can do different kinds of things.
Yes, and I suggested in part that it's me who makes the decision about which mode to use. There is also, of course, around me a sort of conventional notion. So, for instance, if I'm kind of communicating something very formally, then writing might seem to be, because my society tells me, the best means for doing that. It seems that we have in our society not just these modes available to use, but also conventions that indicate to us, not as strict rules, nobody's going to get shot, but as rules, conventions, to use them in particular ways. And so we might say that writing over many hundreds of years in literate societies has become specialized to be the carrier of certain kinds of information. There's a functional specialization of writing. And also, of course, then what happens is that writing in that past, which is now changing very rapidly, carried most of the informational load. So we can ask, in a particular on this website, which mode is carrying most informational load.
So if we look at this BBC News website, we can talk about which of the different modes has the most functional specialization or functional load?
We can say which mode has been specialized for what kinds of purposes.
Okay.
Yeah, so the writing next to the image seems to be specialized to kind of make certain kinds of things in the image seem more salient, or to give a context, a frame for what this image actually is. That seems to be what writing is doing here. That's its specialization. Now the question is, which of them carries more informational load? And I would find that actually quite difficult to answer, because writing kind of frames, it provides an environment, it provides a kind of a background to the image, but the image seems most potent. And then they're also organized in a kind of a left-right relationship. Yeah? The image is on the left and the writing is on the right. So I'm asking myself, does that matter? And would it matter if the writing was on the left and the image on the right? Now these are the kinds of questions we now have to begin to think about, because we're making a composition in which everything that is there ought to be where it should be, in terms of the meanings I want to make.